Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We're at poem 530, You Cannot Put a Fire Out. Now, when published in 1896, this poem was called Power. It is another poem, I think, about poetry and the power of poetry, the symbolism of fire and flood as it relates to poetry. Our assumption is you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily. I'm hopeful that you worked through our set of introductory comments. I'm hopeful that you've already studied the previous 529 poems. We just finished with 529, I'm sorry for the dead. And if you have, you'll be able to place this poem within the context of a number of poems where Emily writes about the power of inspiration in poetry. She says it this way: you cannot put a fire out, a thing that can ignite, can go itself without a fan upon the slowest night. You cannot fold a flood and put it in a drawer, because the winds would find it out and tell your cedar floor. Now, of course, the you here makes this, again, one more reason why we called our series Chats with Emily. She speaks directly to you and she says, you can't put a fire out, the inspiration, the muse, as we think of it in the invocation, the muse with Homer and Virgil. A thing that can ignite, can go itself without a fan, the idea of inspiration. Upon the slowest night, it doesn't matter. She says, I can always come up with a new idea. You can't fold a flood, what a wonderful word picture, and put it in a drawer. Now again, we call this time in her life that flood experience of so many ideas coming. So she mentions the flood. Obviously the biblical flood comes to mind. You can't put it in a drawer. Ironically, of course, Emily's poetry did end up in a drawer until it was discovered after her death, and then obviously shared with us, thankfully. Because the winds would find it out, this idea of the wind, inspiration itself, and tell your cedar floor, in other words, start the fire that would last all the way to now when we're studying these poems. At 2A, I think her argument is that nothing is more amazing than the poetic, the artistic inspiration that she obviously is genius to demonstrate. At 2B, I love the symbolism of both fire and flood. I can't help at 3A but think of Shelley's defense of poetry. We've given lectures on it at learnstrong.net. Go and enjoy that. Shelley making a very similar argument. Potable gold, he calls, of course, inspiration. Finally, at 3B, how do you think about inspiration and the idea of where ideas come from? And I hope Emily's challenging you in that regards. Thank you.